When it comes to our knowledge of life before birth and after death, logic tells us it simply cannot be treated as physical reality. If it isn't founded on physical fact, what should we call it? The word metaphorical fits. But let's look at it critically, because throughout history, we have robbed each other of our physical realities over our unknowns. Sometimes we've even killed over them. This pattern has been common and consistent across human history. And for a species capable of reasoning, this is deeply troubling, especially for those who value logic. Unknown number 1. Reincarnation. A huge portion of humanity believes in God, and some believe in reincarnation. From a biological standpoint, reincarnation raises questions. Consider this. In one ejaculation, a human male releases around 400 million sperm cells. From a biological perspective, that fact alone casts doubt on the reincarnation narrative. While some religions do not accept reincarnation, archaeological evidence shows human remains millions of years old. That means we have been around for millions of years. If souls were continually recycled, we should, by now, have a world full of ancient, wise souls. Logically, our social and spiritual crime rates should be much lower than those of our ancestors. But they aren't. In fact, despite human evolution, crime and cruelty remain stubbornly high if you believe in reincarnation. Does God need reincarnation? Physiologically, humanity has been growing in number despite wars and violence. Since both good and evil require physical beings to act in the world, God and the devil would both need human physicality to be meaningful. If the human body is a vessel that makes physical reality possible, then God remains physically viable as long as humanity exists. If each person carries a speck of the divine essence, then God is spiritually constant, one unified entity. Suggesting reincarnation, however, creates separation, God living through some but not all. That indirectly implies that God needs reincarnation, which undermines the idea of God's eternal constancy. I believe God is constant, before birth, during life, and after death. But even God and the devil require human physicality to be physically effective in the world. Lessons from the human body. Science has shown that our bodies are made of cells that continually live and die, yet the body as a whole lives on much longer than any single cell. We remain mortal despite constant cell regeneration. Similarly, just as our cells are part of a larger, unseen organism, we may be part of a constant God we cannot yet fully understand. Because we lack complete knowledge of the whole, political and religious narratives fill in the gaps, telling us how to believe. We are taught we belong to one part of the whole, like an arm or leg, but discouraged from asking how the body functions as one integrated system. This mirrors our relationship with God. We may understand our part, but not the whole. The spirit, encased within us, keeping both cells and bodies alive, operates beyond our conscious control, much like God sustaining creation. The game of life and death, the cycle of life and death, begins the moment we are born and continues until we die. That final death is much like cell death, an ongoing, natural process. Humanity has survived wars, ice ages, plagues, and climate changes. If survival depended solely on us, we might already be extinct. There are aspects of our existence we still do not understand. Before birth and after death remain metaphorical zones. While we can imagine, believe, or assume, no one can claim to know. Politics, belief, and justice. We may inherit genetic traits that make some feel reincarnated, But without clear, repeatable scientific evidence, such claims remain in the metaphorical realm. Belief systems have long been treated as ultimate authorities, but today's humanity demands more than inherited assumptions. It seeks equal individual human rights. In the past, we practiced human sacrifice and burned widows on funeral pyres. Today, we can live in multicultural societies, though bigotry and discrimination remain. Progress is slow, but it is real. Still, we often defend inherited beliefs, even when they make no sense, because the politics of belonging to a group clouds judgment. Our sense of belonging can blind us to the whole picture. Just as the body needs all its parts, humanity and God are whole entities. If you believe in God, then God is constant and does not require reincarnation. If you belong to a group, filter out the politics and belong to humanity first. Only then can you find a pure spirituality, blind justice, and a politically undivided humanity. Free will and personal responsibility, we each carry a personal atom of autonomy, authority over both body and mind. That autonomy can be polluted by political or religious influence, often inflamed by emotional or hormonal responses. But we have the responsibility to override these influences. True spirituality requires seeing yourself and others as carriers of the divine. Political belief systems that deny equal rights are spiritually compromised. The golden rule applies here. Don't do to anyone what you wouldn't want done to yourself or your loved ones. God gave you autonomy so you could use free will and a personal sense of justice. Lending your physical presence and actions to your group's political agenda comes with personal accountability. Fitting in or impressing others by compromising spiritual principles is not spiritual, it's political. Humanity over group politics. All humans need oxygen, food, water, and love. Political groups cannot change that. Bringing God into the systems of bigotry and discrimination is a spiritual crime because God is universal. You've been taught to believe in God, but not to see God within yourself or others. Your autonomy allows you to choose how you act. Lending your physicality to harmful causes goes against both your human and divine nature. Without individuals, no group, religion, or even God in action can function. History is full of fallen empires and religious powers. The individual has always been the key unit in both political and spiritual reality. When individuals see themselves as irrelevant, politics has succeeded in reducing them to worker bees and warrior ants. In the modern world, with weapons capable of total destruction, this is especially dangerous. Hope in a transitional time. Despite the dangers, there is hope. We are beginning to demand equal human rights, moving toward unity as one humanity. This is a step forward in human evolution, though it comes with growing pains. Some fight for change, others cling to the status quo. Still, when politics uses the metaphorical world as if it were physical reality, humanity pays the price in lives, resources, and even the loss of God's working hands in the world. It may not be for everyone, but spiritually, we must cross the lines of political group belonging to embrace one humanity, one God, true spirituality, and blind justice. Your life's meaning is found in how you use your physicality while alive. The heaven or hell you create in the physical world will be felt here and now. Guilt, regret, and trauma are immediate consequences of lending your physicality to causes that betray your spiritual principles. You are both hardware, body and brain, and software, autonomy and spirit. If your belief system is polluted by politics, you are still responsible for your actions. You belong to humanity as a whole and to God spiritually. Lending your physicality to a group at the expense of universal humanity causes inner conflict. Understand this before you act. Your physicality makes everything meaningful. Without individuals, nothing, political or spiritual, functions. God entrusted you with autonomy to remind you of your importance, even if politicians try to convince you otherwise.